everybody, and welcome to the first show of the Tingling Tea, where we spill the tea on the strange and the supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the creepy and the cryptid, and all that is phenomenally freaky. With me tonight is my team. I have Miss Annabelle Chimpton. Now, Annabelle grew up in a haunted house, and although a skeptic, she's interested in reasonable people who experience unreasonable things. Hello, Annabelle.
Hi,
Glad to have you with me.
excited to be here.
And next we have August Peterson. August grew up in a home where his sister and mother claimed to have experienced ghosts on numerous occasions. He's skeptic, but open to the idea of there being explanations of experiences beyond what science can currently prove. Hello, August.
Hello, Les. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to have you all here on our first show. This is just a huge feat for us. A huge undertaking. It's something that we've been talking about for a very, very long time. So, how's it feel to be on a live streaming show talking about the one thing that we always talk about around the water cooler?
I've never been on a live stream before, so this is my first. So I'm happy to share it with both of you. I am really excited to dig into some of these topics that we were talking about today. I think we have a lot of really cool stuff to talk about, and I'm excited to have Annabelle here to get her point of view as well.
Annabelle is in the castle.
She's sure
She's in the dungeon. It's the
It looks
crypt.
drafty in there. It looks really drafty.
Yeah, it's a
It
little
does.
drafty, a little chilly, a little spooky. So
But the candles are on, so it's giving some kind of vibe.
but the candles are lit and we're
Yeah.
ready to summon something tonight.
I
So
think there's something really. If you squint your eyes and look far behind Annabelle, I think there's something walking down there.
Well, one more person that we have to mention is Hash. Now, Hash doesn't take well to scary stuff, but he is driving this machine tonight through Evolution Comics, and he's doing it with all the lights on, I'm sure, wherever he is. So, hello, Hash. We love you. So this is what we're going to do. I'm your host. I'm Les Frye, aka Sister Slayer, for all of you all who know me in the gaming world. And I'm a believer in the supernatural because I've seen and experienced some things. So I know it's real. I am a Christian. I have a deep respect for the supernatural, the unknown, the unseen, and the unimaginable. So I do have a lot of stories to share, some personal stories, which I'm sure you all do too. But that will be for later on in the shows. I'm really excited to kind of talk about some of the topics that we're going to discuss this evening because they are really, 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 really interesting. Um, I'm going to give like a little disclaimer to anybody that's going to be watching this evening. If you have children that are watching, we ask that you use parental discretion on this. There are going to be some things that we're going to be viewing that are really chilling, things that really give you the willies, things that really get into the psyche, and some of the things we're going to be discussing. And so, if you are somebody and your children or something that does not take too well to this kind of stuff, scary topics, then we ask that you either turn us down or turn us off. And because we want to respect that for you. So we're going to be discussing tonight. Our first thing that we're going to be discussing is this has been something that's been going on. It's a phenomenon that's been going on, and it's like really kind of creepy. But is TikTok haunted? I mean, okay, let me explain. Okay, so TikTok, the popular short form video sharing app that allows the user to share and create about 15 seconds of video on any topic, they believe that it's haunted. And it was created in China by ByteDance. It came under some fire, I think, in the past about privacy terms and stuff like that, where the government was trying to step in and everything. But the thing is that they can't really stop this machine. I mean, it has over 3 billion subscribers, and especially right now during COVID, it probably has a whole lot more. But the interesting thing is that
Probably not a good thing to do during an election year too, to stop
exactly.
TikTok.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a very popular form of entertainment for the younger crowd and some of the older crowd too. They're doing really well with it. But anyway, there's been a slew of videos where they've been saying that users has been actually capturing paranormal activity in the background whenever they're doing like dance challenges and stuff like that. So
Is it just during dance challenges?
no. It's not during Just Dance challenges. I guess it goes with a
Also
secret
during the
plan.
cinnamon challenge.
Yeah. At all challenges, they've been capturing ghosts. So some people believe that the app is actually cursed. They believe that China essentially gave us like a Trojan horse. And
Wait, let me get this right. So China wrote some sort of curse into their code. Is that what's
no,
happening?
hey, now that's sophisticated. But and maybe they did. No, they're thinking that it was more of, like a Shinto curse, like that they actually, they had a Buddhist curse, like evil Buddhist curse the application before they transmitted it around the world and everything. I mean, that's the speculation. I don't know if that's true. I mean, in my opinion, I think that what's happening is that we are seeing so many videos now that we're bound to capture something in the background, because that's our main platform of communication right now. So this is probably why they're getting a lot of these videos.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. There's so many more videos going on right now than there ever has before.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, even Instagram is becoming more of a video platform. It is really, the volume of videos is just increasing. And if we're going to see these instances where we're catching something of a supernatural nature, it's going to be captured now more than ever, because we're just filming more now than we ever had before.
And those little buggers want to get in on the action, because obviously they're showing up on people's videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually see some footage now. I borrowed some footage from King Frostmare. His scary home videos. King Frostmare is on YouTube. I recommend that you go and you like and subscribe his videos. He always has very creepy content on his YouTube videos. He usually commentates in the background. He has a very unique voice. I'm not really sure where he's from. I think he's from Norway. So he does but he captures some of these. So these are actually videos that people have either shared in Reddit, the subreddit, or actually shared directly to King Frostmare. And once again, like I said, go and like and subscribe his page. But let's take a look at some of the things that have been captured on TikTok.
The following clip was recorded and shared by Andy, and it really freaked a couple of people out once they first saw it initially. Andy's lying on his bed and literally just singing along a song that he recorded at the time to share on the platform. But it is that there seems to be a really creepy thing popping up from behind the closet, which is placed against the wall. How strange. Let's take a look. And he realizes that there must have been something indeed. Now, what was it? People say that it looks like a head of a child. Could it be? But how?
Wait, that thing has a face.
And some nasty hair. It's true. Look at that. She needs to do something.
It is gray, like dead body gray.
And the eyes are black.
Right here.
Oh,
Apparently you can make out an eye and the nose. What do you think?
I think she looks like a lot of
course,
Here it
the
goes,
sighting
we've seen before.
If you manage a team, you have to
so we
try.
do have a little bit of
Monday.com is a platform.
media here.
This is brought to you by Monday.com.
Go to the next video that we have. I think that one's a little bit too as creepy as soon as we can get that worked out. But I mean, imagine that was not a cat. Nothing can fit behind that dresser.
That was definitely not a cat.
That was definitely not a cat.
That was a head.
I think
was
you
a
can
head.
you can definitely debunk that that's a small animal. That's not a small animal.
Hey, what about if that is a small animal?
Little
I don't
dog.
see
I said it's not a small animal.
No, it isn't. Look, he's looking behind there
And
right now.
nothing. I have no idea what it could be.
Could it be a super flat
Or what could have
person?
caused it to begin with. Let me hear your explanation for it. Just a hoax? I mean, based on that toy, it is pretty safe to say that he might have a daughter himself. Was she responsible for that? So who knows?
Yo.
I like the shadow on that. So the shadow really helps make it look real.
Yeah, but I will
Next clip
say
has been sent to me by G Morals.
the pony
Another-
toy
It
is
tells me
not
that her 10-year-old son was recording a TikTok
necessarily a
video
child.
in which he
this, watch
lifts up
this.
his little sister by the end of the recording. It is important to note that his sister was right next to him during the whole video. G Morals states that she freaked out a bit because she couldn't explain the shape flying by. Her son said that no one else was around and that the door to his room was shut as well. Turns out that they have moved to this house around 2 months ago, and that the previous owner had passed away. Could it be related?
Either that baby got some legs that can run in front of the
Now
camera.
let's look at that a bit closer.
I want to see the slow-mo.
Frame by frame, I'd say it looks like an apparition of a female with
That looked like a
shoulder-long
big
brown
head.
hair. Unfortunately, it's too blurry to say for sure, but it appears that she also shows some facial features. What do you think?
That
Is
looks
it
like a full-grown
paranormal
woman.
or something that could be easily explained?
That's a pretty blurry video for 2020.
I don't see a full-grown.
Well, she had a phone. She had a
vast
phone,
universe,
so maybe her phone is not good
alive
quality.
with the
Let's skip
unrelenting
this ad.
activity
Can we go to
and
the next?
combined history of its
Yeah, that could have been anything. Look at that.
I don't know. That doesn't convince me. It's spooky. It's definitely spooky.
Naomi has posted
watch
the next
this.
video of hers dancing in a dimly lit hallway
Is this the
in what
scary
appears
part?
to be South America.
What the
She
dancing?
mostly is recording herself
This is
performing
horrifying.
various choreographies and entertaining dances.
I bet
In
her
the
mama don't
following
know
Oh,
she's
boy.
doing this.
States that
I
after
heard that's
checking
very
the
difficult. That
recording,
move.
she was terrified. Nobody seemed to be home with her, so there
That's
should
right.
be no
She's
person
too young to
besides
be
her.
dancing like that.
Yet the camera has picked something up that is rather
Okay.
interesting.
This is how I look when I'm at home alone too. Did we see it?
Wait. I think we're gonna get a close-up of that. Yo.
That's creepy.
Notice how a woman appears behind her left shoulder, seemingly surprised by Naomi recording the video.
I'm surprised by Naomi recording the video too, but that
Then she seems
definitely
to be
looks
bonded.
like
Now,
a
who is
person.
to say that it wasn't just her sister? Also notice how her eyes are reflecting. Interesting for sure.
Okay, y'all.
That's
Is it a
definitely a person.
mysterious
That's
event?
the go. No.
Maybe.
With reflected
Can we be
eyes.
sure? Absolutely not.
The eyes are reflecting. Look at this. Look.
I don't know. That's just
Oh, I see it. I see
See
it.
it?
Oh yeah. It's definitely a.
Hey guys,
I'm not
if you
convinced
wish
that's a
to
ghost. That's a real person.
Thank you, Hash.
I think I have to go with Eddie on that.
That you think
Because
is a real person?
look how much space behind her you couldn't see because she was close to the camera.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that was a real person.
So here's my thoughts on that. First of all, what real person do you all know is that color? It's that gray.
It was dark.
That wasn't
I'm
that dark.
I'm naturally white. If I turn out the lights, I'm going to be gray too.
No, but she didn't have the lights off. The light was obviously in front of her.
What if
Like-
Annabelle didn't have all that candlelight?
Exactly. I'm like one shade away from being the gray. So
Do your eyes reflect too?
So okay, I have to say they reflect a little bit.
Okay.
Like
Like a cat's.
when it comes to anything as a TikTok video,
Mhm.
there's 0% chance that I'm going to buy into it. I have to put it out there. Everything on TikTok is fake. Even the things that are creepy. That's where I feel about it.
You do? So
Yeah.
you think
It's,
okay.
it's
So
a platform for scripted people. And I will give it to the first one. That was my favorite. With the little head.
mhm,
Little head coming out.
mhm.
Yeah, maybe Eddie can
My
summon
TikTok
one.
video. Did anything show up behind me?
But
No?
I mean, to be fair, I also am the stubborn millennial that hasn't downloaded TikTok, and I'm not
Yes.
going to. So I don't know how much of a horse I can have in that race.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I am not. I do not, and I will not download that platform because, believe it or not, what you just saw was just a little bit of the content that I've been coming across. I actually have some more, so we might have to revisit that so that you all can understand what I've been seeing in it. But I agree with you. A lot of it is scripted content, and there is actually a part of TikTok that's called Haunted TikTok, where people are actually putting stories on there. But these are people that are doing dance challenges, and I doubt that they're coming there and putting something up on that channel, that they have the means or wherewithal or the money to put up fake ghost content or to put it in the video itself.
I definitely don't think that people did this on purpose.
Mhm.
I mean, it's definitely creepy, and I feel that these people found some creepiness in their video.
Yeah,
I don't think this was like premeditated or anything like that. I think
yeah.
there was just some girl behind her
On the last one, you thought it was some girl.
on the
She
last
said-
one. Yeah.
Yeah, she claimed there was nobody at home. So that's a very interesting thing.
I would love to see the hashtags on these TikTok videos.
Well, that actually went viral afterwards
did?
because somebody else saw it. Of course, she didn't see it. She didn't have any reaction whatsoever, so she didn't see it. So
I would be. We have lost August. I would be curious in seeing more. I would love to see more
I'm here.
of the TikTok videos, and I would love to be convinced. But just based on what I've seen, I don't feel a convincing pull yet. Like, it reminds me of early days found footage horror on YouTube that people were
Yeah.
making in their basement.
yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like that those particular videos, the people were that sophisticated where they had the type of equipment. And I do know that the first video, the young man had apparently been doing an investigation saying the same thing, that he felt that TikTok was haunted. And he was telling people about that. And then, of course, now what happens is he actually has footage of that happening in his house. But there is this huge following of people who are actually capturing paranormal activity on their screen. There was one that's famous, and maybe we could find that later on and actually show it to the audience, where a young lady was dancing, and you could actually see an apparition go past the upper part of the thing, and she was dancing off a Chance the Rapper song. He even noticed it and said, "Hey, you got a ghost back there." So he said it. So
Oh, we got to watch that. That's
Yeah,
got to be amazing.
yeah, so everybody saw that one and immediately blew up because it went viral and stuff. So I'm gonna try to find that one, and maybe we can view that video next week and do
Yes.
some more content of people capturing ghosts. So let's move on to our next topic, and this is one that I absolutely love. We've actually talked about this ad nauseum at the office cooler, and I already know what your opinions are of these, but I am just going to go ahead and just put it out there. So there's this phenomenon, this strange phenomenon that has always given me the major creeps. I already see you nodding your head, August. I already see you nodding your head.
That's right. I am
And
not a
just like-
believer in this.
Okay, well, but just let me hold up. Let me just go ahead and tell the audience what this
All right.
is.
I'm holding up.
So apparently there have been people that have been coming forward with accounts of finding stairwells in the middle of our national parks, our national forests and woods. These stairwells do not lead to anything. They're not attached to a ruin or houses or anything like that. They're just structures. They're freestanding structures. They're deep in the forest where there would be no one to have a house or a home or anything like that. And when alerting the forest rangers that they are finding these particular stairs, the forest rangers are actually telling people, listen, don't go near those stairs. We see them all the time. We don't know what they are. And apparently there are people that have actually tried to climb the stairs. So sometimes the stairs they're not swept. Sometimes they're very pristine, like they've been cleaned. They've been, they're just there. But the forest rangers told them not to. So a couple of people have actually done that. And they said that they've had these like really strange outwardly appearances when they go up the stairs. There also was rumor that somebody went up the stairs and that he actually stuck his arm out and his arm disappeared as if he was putting his hand into another dimension. So what are these stairs? Are they like a jet bridge to the UFO? What are they? I really like to get your thoughts. Annabelle, what do you think?
I think if you think you're climbing stairs in the woods like that, you're probably going to think your arm's disappearing.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That means this is another one that's like, it's a big iffy for me. It appeared initially as a report on like a Reddit post. And I remember reading it when it popped up. I think it's really spooky. I think it's one of the better stories. And it's actually one that I want to believe in. I want to believe it's real, but it's really hard for me to get there. We don't have a lot of good found footage on these pristine ones that people seem to say is like a stellar example of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, check this out.
So that's a good staircase.
This one,
but there's lots of like leaves and stuff that fell on it.
Yeah, but look at
Nobody's
how
keeping it up.
modernized. Look how modernized it is. Now the other footage, the other ones, they look like they might have been, attached to like a home or something like that, some kind of structure, some kind of stone structure. But that one,
I would definitely climb these stairs if I found them. I would 100%. I would walk up.
And that's why y'all do what y'all do. Because there ain't no way in heck that you're going to find me climbing them stairs.
Even the one with the nice landscaping, that was really pretty.
I don't care. The minute I start getting creeped out about that, I will just say, no, thank you. And I will walk on. I mean, why are you here, stare in the middle of the woods? Well, first of all, I would not be in the middle of the forest in the first place. Because I don't do that. I wouldn't be in the middle of the forest.
You've never gone on a walk in the middle of the woods?
At night by yourself? That's the best time.
That's such a good time to go.
Okay, I'm gonna drink my tea on that one. Whatever.
I'm still here, and I've gone for a walk in the middle of the woods.
But did you come back as you, or do you think you're you?
You'll never know now. I would definitely walk up those stairs.
You would walk up the stairs?
Oh, completely.
I might go up the first three, but if I start feeling any kind of vibe, I will definitely just have to leave it alone. I mean, it's really creepy. I mean, there has been this other phenomenon that's been going on, and I'm wondering if this is somewhat related of the missing 411, and that's something else that we need to talk about at some point, where people have gone deep in the woods and they just disappeared. But I'm wondering if this is something. Is this a walkway to another dimension? I mean, I just can't understand why they're just there out of nowhere and they're not attached to any type of structure.
I don't know. That just seems like a regular stairway to me. Like it was attached. Like there's like a parking lot next to it.
And I mean, at this point in 2020, I might take the stairway to another dimension and just, roll my dice. It can't be that much worse of a roll. Is it really going to be better to walk back down when you're at the top of those?
Right. I might pack my bags and go with you on that one. Wherever that journey is taking me, just get me on that train wherever it's going. Wow. Yeah, that was really, really, really creepy. So
I like it. I think it's pretty.
I mean, in some way, there's some kind of serenity about it, but it still gives me kind of like vibes, especially like that one too.
That one's
with the
creepy.
dead tree by it. That was really creepy. That just is like, and definitely the one that's the modern structure. That's creepy too.
I just feel like there was like a.
Where is that? Is that like a diving board into the pond? Look at that little pond or creek back there.
I feel like there was some sort of carpentry school, some sort of technical school that had a final, and everybody had to build some stairs.
And so they decided to go deep in the woods and do
it. The deeper, the better.
When we need stairs everywhere else, they just decided that they just wanted to go there.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
no.
right.
No. I don't know. I have to disagree about that. We're going to come back to that because we're going to try to find a little bit more content on those stairs. But what would you say? You're skeptics on that? You're skeptical? You want to believe you have.
I mean, I'm skeptic, but I think it's totally reasonable to find a staircase. And if that's the case, yeah, let's do it. I'm going up.
Oh,
right.
I'm a total skeptic on this one. I haven't from day one, but I definitely want to find some stairs and go up to the top.
Okay.
Like guarantee.
Okay.
I
So
will.
Annabelle,
I will text you, Les. I will text you with every step and tell you what I'm experiencing.
and I could just see me. I could just see me talking to the forest ranger. This was his last text to me. All right, let's move on. We are going to discuss a new game that's out called Phasmophobia. Now, Phasmophobia, if you don't know what that means fear of ghosts. That's the clinical terminology for fear of ghosts. And it's a 4-player online co-op psychological horror game where you play ghost hunters with a team of about 4 people, where you report paranormal activity. Now, the thing is that you're given all the equipment that you would need for ghost hunting. You would be given your EMF recorder, your EVP recorder, your EMF, all the things you need. And it is powered by Steam. Right now, it's in its beta form, and it's only on PC. It's $13.99 for the game. It's going to be released in 2021. So it's cross-platform when it finally does get released. It's going to have a co-op multiplayer. It's going to have very unique ghosts, full voice recognition, everything in it. The thing about this particular game, though, is while you are hunting these ghosts can actually kill you. So it's more like a survival horror game, if you could say that. And Annabelle,
I love this game.
Annabelle, yeah, already.
Take
yeah,
my
right.
money.
Annabelle, August, and I are huge. We are huge. We appreciate very much horror survival games. We love them. I mean, absolutely love them. Although this one, I might kind of, I might not play this one, and I'm gonna tell you why. But we're going to talk about this a little bit because Annabelle actually got to play this game. We have some footage, I think, from Dry Bear Games. We want to thank them for providing this footage for us of the games. And Annabelle, could you just kind of tell us what the game was like, what the gameplay was like, while our audience looks at some of the footage. And by the way, please like and subscribe Dry Bear Games. They are on YouTube. Like and subscribe them so you can see all of their new content when they put it up. Go ahead.
So the game is, I would describe it like Ghost Adventures Live. Like there's this show that hopefully you've seen it if you're watching this, but it's people that go and investigate haunted places. So you can hold like an electromagnetic field detector, a temperature detector, UV lights. And the whole point is to go in these houses and discover what type of ghost is haunting them. This is hands down the scariest experience that I have played. I was saying a little bit before we went on air that I played the game Amnesia and it lasted a couple seconds in the hallway. But this one just fills this feeling of dread because the game recognizes your voice. And if you say, give me a sign or where are you or what's your name, the ghost can respond in kind. It's horrifying.
I love it.
Okay, so I did hear that part of your investigation, you have to use a spirit board. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a spirit board, a spirit box, so the ghost can talk to you. And it feels like there's no end to what you can ask it, and it will respond in the game if it's that type of ghost.
Ooh, that's a good look at that.
Yeah, that graphic is really good.
It pops up, but the field of vision is super low. Trying to talk to your teammates is really hard, and the places that you play in are just super spooky. This is like you feel like a ghost hunter.
Okay. Therein lies why I will not play this game because of that spirit board. No, thank you. I don't care if the spirit board is in the game at all. I don't care if it's in my mind. I do not play spirit boards. That right there to me is, I don't know. I just got felt a certain way about that. I would play this game as long as I didn't have to touch that spirit board.
Why do you think it's a portal or something that would follow you?
Absolutely. I do not play nobody's spirit board. No, thank you. I got stories to tell. No, I don't do that. So
what stories do you have to tell?
Oh, we'll leave that for a later show. We have a lot of stories to tell. But this is just me looking at the content itself, I mean, it looks like an amazing game. And there, I think there's a lot of us who watch these kind of shows have always wanted to be a part of an investigation, just to say that you did it, to be ghost hunters or, Paranormal Estate. All of those games, those are shows that I absolutely positively look at and watch them and see what they come up with. And they've come up with some amazing things. But I just think that, you know, I don't know. This is maybe there's a reason why this was so creepy to you. Maybe this was because you are literally playing this in your house. There's no light, there's nothing. And then there's the matter of you coming to your demise by these ghosts. It kind of puts me in the same frame of mind as Fatal Frame. Do you all remember that game?
No, tell me about it.
Fatal Frame was actually came out maybe in the 90s and everything. It's a Fatal Frame 1 and 2, and I think that it has some other consecutive games right after that. Incidentally, Steven Spielberg had actually brought the rights to the game to actually produce it as a movie because that's how scary it was. And in this, you follow a person who you're equipped only with a camera, and the camera is the only thing that you use to actually kill the ghost in it. So you have no gun, you have no weapon, you have nothing. You just have your camera and certain types of lenses and film. It was by far one of the scariest games I have ever played. And I'm not really sure if it was scary because it takes place in Japan, which completely takes you out of your element. It's a very unfamiliar element. One of the things that I remember about it that was like so creepy is like, a normal door in a house in America opens, back and forth, and you can hear. So if the door squeaks, I know that's kind of a corny sound that you usually hear in movies and stuff like that. So I don't think they had the same effect. But in Japan, they have sliding doors. So you would be going through this investigation and you would hear doors sliding. That was so scary to me. It was so terrifying to me that I did not make it through the game. I did not make it through the game. And that's saying a lot for me, who loves this kind of genre. I just didn't get it. But this is kind of what this reminds me of.
Wow, I'm all in. If I was to play this game, I would play it for hours and hours and hours, and then they would kill me, and then I would play it again. It would be like, I would be completely obsessed. I am obsessed with those type of TV shows. I watch them all the time. I think half of the time people are bogus. Like they have the person who's extra sensitive, and they're just like, ooh, did you hear that? Did you feel that? I feel like I have tingles all over my body, and I'm like, I don't know. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. I would probably have tingles too if I was walking, in a dark place and hearing spooky sounds. Anyway, I love this genre. I think it is so cool, and I would definitely be involved. The one thing that I wish they did more of was like find other ways to figure out different ways to communicate rather than the standard ways, the EVP and the spirit board or whatever it is that you're trying to use. I just feel like I've seen that before. It's been so done. I would love to find other ways to figure out how to communicate.
So you're probably like you're a novice in this, though. You're not anybody so you would use equipment that is probably.
Well, you can actually upgrade to you can set motion sensors eventually once you've played enough missions, and you can set up like cameras in rooms and sound detectors, and it gets pretty complicated so that you can monitor all these things. It really captures
a modified Connect box.
Yeah, it really captures the feeling of looking in a haunted place with your friends.
Cool.
Wow.
And
that was cool.
There's moments where you're in there and you're trying to look around and you turn around, and because of your field of vision is so small, you're lost. You don't see people around you, and they're out of range of your local voice chat. Mm-hmm. So you're just lost and walking in the dark.
Wow.
I love that. I love how they could reproduce that in a video format, in a gaming format. I love it.
Nailed it. You'll hear a breath in your ear, or a phone will ring somewhere, and it's the environment is perfect. They nailed it. It horrifies me. The first time I played it, I went into a high school, and then I walked back out, and there was more work to do. But I was like, absolutely not. I am not going back inside.
Now, is it scripted, or does your decision making determine the outcome of the game?
Your decision making determines your outcome of the game.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh, I don't
And
know.
that ghost listens. That ghost listens to you talk. So if you're talking on voice, that ghost is listening.
So, Annabelle, let me ask you, how did your game end?
So I died for the first time recently on a match.
Yeah.
But the other times, we've actually done an okay job of figuring out what type of ghost it was and then getting out of there. And it was a scary time because I wouldn't leave like my friend's side. I was just following behind them the whole time and too scared to go in a room by myself versus my partner who played it and was just walking around in the dark, totally unfazed.
She's right.
I would totally be that partner. I'd be like, I'm looking in this room and that room and the bathroom and the refrigerator and everywhere.
Well, I highly recommend the game, and props to it because it was made by a single developer. So
wow.
one person made this entire thing. It's in early access, so the more support they can get, I think the better.
We got to find out this person's name to support
them. Absolutely. I mean, I think that that's amazing. That is amazing. Imagine how much time that person spent just making this have the atmosphere.
They probably watched every episode of Ghost Adventures. Wow. Like they had to have.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right. So let's move on to our next topic. If you are know anything about the paranormal community, or you talk about it, you watch any of these kind of videos, you know about this subject matter. And we're going to discuss the black-eyed kids, or the BEKs. Now, I know you're laughing already. Come on now. Don't laugh.
No, actually, the BEKs are still the one thing I'm afraid to look out my window at night. So, just so we're clear on my laugh.
Oh, that was a nervous laugh then.
I thought you were going to talk about the black-eyed peas.
No.
I also thought you were about to go into black-eyed peas territory.
No. We're going to talk about the black-eyed kids, our favorite subject. Okay, so this is a phenomenon that's been around since the 1980s, but it gained a lot of focus like in 1996 when a Texas news reporter actually had an encounter with these kids. So apparently he was in a parking lot. I think he was just, on his phone or something like that. And these kids came up to his car and they said, can you give us a ride? They said, we had just come from the movie theater, which was a movie theater across the street. It was a certain time too in the evening when they came to the car, some time where kids shouldn't actually be out at night. And they were wearing hoodies, which seems to be the uniform of these black-eyed kids. So they're wearing hoodies. They range between the ages of 6 and 16. And at first he was annoyed because he was like, what kids come up and ask somebody for a ride? A complete stranger asked for a ride. But the minute that he looked up, he saw that they had these black obsidian eyes. They have pale skin. They look like they're a crossbreed between a humanoid and an alien. And he got this very weird, sinister vibe. The kids were asking him if they could get in the car, but they told him that they needed his permission to get in the car. Okay.
Creepy.
So there have been incidences, and mostly in your area, Annabelle, where these kids have showed up to people's homes and knocked on the homes and asked. This is very interesting because nobody has a landline anymore, but they asked to use the phone. They must gain access by permission. They must be permitted to come in. And they tell some of the encounters that I've read about, they tell them, listen, I have to have permission to come in your home. You must invite me in. What's that sound like? You must invite me in.
Of course.
Vampires and demons. Remember, a demon actually has to be invited to come into you and be possessed, to possess you. So this is why they feel this really weird. They feel sick to their stomach, which I think is an indication of something that is demonic. Whenever you feel your gut feeling and you start feeling sick, and they are just the creepiest thing. But I have to tell you that I had come across an article not too long ago, maybe a few months back, where they had actually captured these kids. They captured 3 of them in the UK, and they detained them.
What?
Wait a minute. And I read the article. They found the kids. The kids were panhandling. Somebody complained about it because it's normally what they're doing. And when they captured these kids and they noticed these black eyes, they immediately came and detained the kids, and they called the FBI or the MI6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the interesting thing is that is actually a mugshot of one of them. That's a mugshot. Now, since that article came about, it has completely been wiped down from the internet, and I am not kidding you. And there have been discussions of people saying, "Do you all remember this article about these kids that were arrested in the UK?" Nobody can find the articles any longer, but they did capture the photo. Somebody did capture the photo, and they grabbed the photo, but the article is gone.
That girl has some Instagram lips too, I got to tell you.
Yes, she did. And she's not doing a fish mouth either. She has the nice lips. But
That's a black-eyed kid thing.
Yeah.
You have the good Instagram lips.
Yeah, you definitely have the Instagram
TikTok lips, rather.
But I have that. This terrifies me. This gives me the utmost creeps.
So what about it terrifies you? That they're kids? That they have black eyes?
I think that it appeals to, especially if you're a woman, how can you, or anybody, how can you, if some child is pleading for you to let them in or begging you for food or something like that, there's something in you that's nurturing that would not want to deny giving a child, especially you see a vulnerable child, because usually the age range of these kids are between 6 and 16. So it might be two little kids, 6 years old, but you're thinking to yourself, why is the 6-year-old on my porch at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know, and that's usually when they come, like around those what we call the witching hours.
That's usually my like
photo. This photo creeps me out.
Yeah, that photo is creepy.
And they say that their clothing looks like somebody just put clothing on them, that they're not used to wearing clothing, or the clothing is outdated. So it's very strange. Speculation is that they believe that these are interdimensional beings or alien hybrids. And I did read a case where a gentleman opened up his door, but he had severe headaches and loss of time after he opened up his door.
And invited them in? Did he invite them in?
Well, that's the thing. If somebody did invite them in, how will we know? Because they have lost time. They recall the incident happening, but they don't recall what happened once they opened the door to them or they said yes to them. Most people, though, however, completely shut it down and say no. They lock their door and they turn off the lights and they tell them to go away. And in some instances, they've told these kids to go away, and the kids stand outside the house for a long period of time asking to be let in a chanting voice.
This gets better and better.
What?
Yeah, this one I think is actually I think the concept of just someone being at my door at 3 a.m. is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a kid, it would definitely be even worse. I would.
And he's chanting. Or
if
they're chanting.
If they're chanting, then that's especially going to be a hell no for me.
In Annabelle. Do I have permission to enter your house?
Because
Annabelle?
3 a.m. is when I'm like walking past my front door for the 3 a.m. bathroom trip. So that is not the 3 a.m. come in and have a tea trip.
It's the 3 a.m. dog needs to pee trip.
Yeah. So Annabelle, I mean, honestly, what do you think it is?
But it's going to be hard for me to say that there's such thing as a black-eyed kid. I think if anyone is standing at your door in the middle of the night, though, they're going to look pretty scary.
Well, Brian Bethel, the gentleman that had the encounter with them initially in 1996, he actually wrote a book. And maybe we could do a review of the book about his encounter with that, because he's actually gathered information from other people that had experiences with these beings. I don't know what it is about them, but they are.
So what would it take
eyes
for
look
you?
like a shark's eyes to me.
What would it take for you to invite one in, Les?
Look, if it's coming in my door at 3 o'clock, I know exactly what it is, and I will be going to get the holy water and the anointing oil. and
What if they're asking you for like eye drop?
playing all my gospel music loud, loud. So no, they will not be coming into my door because they know what's up.
So in this day and age, there's no video footage of these kids.
So who would take video footage of them? Who would take video footage of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Eddie, you can't
know what,
take videos of kids like that.
There is somebody that actually claims that there was one standing outside his house. I'm going to see if I can find that video.
I would love to see that video.
He actually put some contraption together where it had some kind of like sonar. I don't know what the heck is it, but there was this thing standing outside his house. So I'm gonna see if I can find that video.
But don't we have like we have the smart doorbells now?
Well, this is true. We do.
The ones that like catch my cat all the time.
Yeah. By the way, those things catch a lot of things. Might have to have a special video.
I would like to see a special on that.
They actually capture a lot of things.
I'm thinking of putting one on my house.
Well, I don't know why it ain't on there now. So I think you should.
If I look and I see that kid, I'm done. I'm moving.
I'm uninstalling it.
Yeah, just because.
Put it on my neighbor's house.
You'll know exactly that it's coming when you see it coming because you'll have your ring feature on. I mean, Augie, what do you think it is?
Oh, I definitely think that these kids are some sort of like otherworldly being. It looks like, I mean, I'm just looking at these photos. I mean, I don't have any footage. I don't have any interviews. I don't know what they sound like. This is all based on rumor and what they look like, but they don't look human. They look like something's going on. And they've got something else that they're planning. And if they do all these crazy things that you were just saying, that they do, there's something else going on.
Absolutely.
This is not normal.
Definitely not normal. But it does give you chills just looking at we're just looking at photos and we're all creeped out. So just imagine if they were at your front door.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to our next topic. If you're thinking about moving to Japan anytime soon, and you want to rent cheap, you want to have your rent cheap, why not buy a stigmatized property? So what is a stigmatized property in Japan? And a stigmatized property is a real estate, which is something where something really bad happened, like a controversial past, a murder, a death of somebody and they didn't find them for a very long time, something crazy and creepy like that. So, Japanese people have a deep respect for those kind of things, and they are very superstitious when it comes to buying a home that somebody died in. And there's all this open real estate out there that is somebody might have passed away in, or a drug, some kind of big something that was ill will occurred in the apartment, and so it's just empty space and nobody will buy it. It just remains empty for years and years and years and years. So what this process is there's this huge they call this there's a name for it, and let me just see what the name is for it. It's called jikobuken. So a stigmatized property is called jikobuken. So jikobuken now it's become a big deal, especially for young people who really don't believe in all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, a morbid fascination of wanting to move into a haunted place, or a place that apparently is haunted.
Tell me we have video of this.
We do not have video.
We're gonna.
But I do have some content where we can talk about it, where a guy, we actually do, I don't have it with us. We could watch a guy who actually hires a real estate agent to go look at places, jikobuken, to live in. He's a comedian who actually does his comedy about the encounters that he has had while renting jikobuken.
Oh my God.
Yes,
I am watching this, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna. I might have to bring that. I mean, there's a couple things that we're gonna have to see next time we meet, so we can see this. But let me just kind of give you an idea about the jikobuken. So the real estate agent has to tell the individual that is purchasing a jikobuken that something did occur there. They have to be upfront. Now, for some reason, the real estate agent doesn't tell the individual that something occurred there, and the individual suffers some kind of like psychological relapse or strange smells like of decaying flesh and stuff like that, they can actually go to court and get out of it. But usually, if you sign a lease with these jikabukins, and it's usually like a 2-year lease, 2 to 4 year lease, you have to stay there. You have to sign a lease saying that you are aware of what occurred in there and that you're going to pay your rent regardless. But I can imagine there have been a lot of abandoned property because people were like, look, I'm out. Something happens and they're out. They're not going to try to change anything. They can't get a Shinto Buddhist to come in and pray over it or whatever, but they decide to leave. Now, the pros of getting it a shikabukin is that it's low rent. It feeds your morbid fascination. But the cons are this. The cons are that you will maybe encounter supernatural things. You may smell strange scents in the house, especially if a decayed body was there. And you probably won't have many neighbors. Let's just face it, because if something occurred in one apartment, nobody wants to be in the apartment next to it. Let's just
So
say
no
that.
barbecues or like people wanting to come in and hang out.
No neighbors bringing you a cake over, and no borrowing sugar, none of that kind of stuff. And the problem is too, if you buy a home, it's going to be hard for you to sell a home. And I every time I think about this, I think about The Grudge. Remember The Grudge? That was a jikabukin. Remember, they rented out the house, but the real estate agent did not tell them that something occurred in that house, that a murder had occurred in the house. So yes, this actually does exist, and not just for the movies. But it is very hard for you, if you sign a mortgage, to sell the house because of the stigma that's attached to it. And the communities in Japan are very small, so they know what happened in the house. They know.
Mm.
Yeah, but what do you think about that? Would you, if you went to Japan and you had to live there, Annabelle, would you buy a jikabukin?
How cheap's the rent?
Probably cheaper than what you would be paying, because Japan is very expensive.
Really cheap.
If it's
It
really
has to be
cheap,
very cheap.
you know what?
You have to live with that person in the photo, though. He's like hanging out in your living room all the time.
I think that's the tenant.
Yeah, that's he comes with the house.
I don't know. It doesn't look like he's unpacked, or he is packing. I'm not really sure, because there's a box next to him.
So you kind of briefly mentioned when you introduced me, I grew up in a house that someone died at right before we lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And after having lived places that I do not believe someone has died at, I might pay the premium for peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But if the cheap rent was cheap enough, I might try my cards and see what happens.
It's all about money.
Because like maybe you could get into a couple of these houses, all for the same price of a regular rent anyways. If one doesn't work out, just get a different lease. So you have 2 leases.
How about you, Augie?
I first of all, that picture right there, that looks nice. That looks like
A dance.
I'm tempted to rent that right now. Like I'm tempted to
Yeah, look at the space.
look at that.
Yeah.
I could have
window.
some freaking awesome times.
Where are the
in
lights?
that
Where are
space.
the lights? Where are the lights? There are no lights.
I can go to IKEA and get some lights. Come on.
Okay.
So I would definitely be tempted to do that. I grew up also in a house where someone passed away, and honestly, over the years, we're all going to be experiencing being in places where people have died. And there are, presents that are good, and there are presents that are not so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And it depends on what your gut is telling you about that particular location.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. A gut feeling is absolutely the one thing that, you can assure yourself with, if you have a gut feeling about it, that Hash says there's Japanese lanterns at IKEA that we could buy that really give it an effect.
Totally.
It's interesting because we all have experienced some kind of supernatural encounters. I too had some weirdness happen in our home growing up, but we can use those. We can definitely talk about those in later episodes. Personally, I don't think that I would buy a jikabukin. I wouldn't want that lady crawling up my sheets going, ah. So no, I just can't. I
I know. I'm so over that image of that, like the lady with that just got out of the shower
the
that
hair.
combed her hair all in her face, and she's just like
So hair is
moving like this.
listen, hair is a big thing with Japanese ghosts because I think what the thing is, it's the idea that hair never stops growing when you die. Your nails never stop growing when you die. So just the idea that this long trail of hair is following a dead body that's coming after you, or a ghost that's coming after you. I think that I think that that's their fascination when they actually, do a ghost movie or whatever, that, that
Mhm.
hair is there.
The hair never stops growing.
The hair never stops growing. So,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
and I don't think ghosts go to the salon and get it cut. So,
No.
yeah, no, I
I'll
don't.
remember to start asking that question in Phasmophobia when I'm talking to the ghosts.
You
Yeah.
totally
Is
should.
your-
When
is
did you
your
last
hair
get your
long?
hair cut?
Who did your hair?
Who did your nails? All right, let's move into our next one. Now, this one, I'm going to prep the audience before we actually get into this discussion. There are some photos that we are going to show that are extreme. They are horrific. But most of these photos, believe it or not, are fake blood. But the terror on these people's faces is very real. So I just recently, and Augie, actually, you kind of referred me to this. Well, I just recently got through watching a documentary called The Art of the Scare.
Mhm.
Haunters, The Art of the Scare. I am this is like Halloween is like one of my favorite holidays. And yes, that is that's the antithesis of what Christian people like. But I love Halloween. I have wonderful memories about Halloween. Um, it always gives me warm feels. Me and my girlfriend Lisa, we used to, hang over Halloween, and I never had enough money to buy my mother didn't have enough money to buy us like a costume, so we always were hobos, which was easy to do.
Mhm.
And I just love this time of the year, and maybe it's because it's the kickoff of everything about this season that I love. Indigenous Peoples Day, because I'm not going to say Thanksgiving, and or Christmas. I really, really love this time of year. And one of the things that my husband and I do on an annual basis, and thanks to my friend Rob Anderson, we got turned on to going to Sleepy Hollow to their haunted maze that they have. They have like a maze in an old farmyard from the 1700s. And we go through this maze all the time. We've had a lot of fun. I love the adrenaline of going through haunted houses as much as
I
I
love
love
haunted
regular.
houses too.
Yeah. I love the scare. I love the feeling. I love laughing. I absolutely love it. And I have gone into some amazing haunted houses. There was one that I went to in Phoenix years back that was put on by Universal Studios. Outstanding. Outstanding. But now the old habit of having booze and ghosts and the typical Frankenstein and vampires and werewolf, that kind of stuff doesn't fascinate people anymore. It doesn't fascinate this new generation. What fascinates this new generation now are extreme hauntings. So basically, it's kind of like a LARP. It's a live action role playing game where you go to these type of haunted houses and you physically experience terror. It is all hands on. All hands on. It is not like what we used to. People nowadays are used to movies like Saw and Hostel and stuff like that, and that's what they consider to be scary. So one of the highlights of this film, Haunters: The Art of the Scare, was this McCamey Manor. Now, the McCamey
Yeah.
Manor has come under fire for some years because it goes to the extreme that it pushes people to fragility, and that's all I could say. Uh, this is one. This is the only haunted scare house that does not have a safe word. All the other ones that are extreme haunting houses, they have a safe word. If you're scared, you can leave. You can say the safe word, and then they'll let you out. This doesn't have one. The the house is put on, and it's actually moved different states because people in the neighborhood do not want this haunted house anywhere near them. Right now, they are currently in Tennessee, from what I said, because I was following the trail. They started off in California,
right?
then they moved to Illinois, I believe,
Yep.
and now they're in Tennessee. So this is one of the footages right there. So these understand that these young women are doused in fake blood, but essentially you're kidnapped from the beginning. You're kidnapped and you're put in the back of a van.
And you sign a legal paper.
We're gonna get into that because I want to show the audience what that paper says, what that waiver says. So this is some of the what you experience. Now this was created. McCamey Manor was created by a gentleman by the name of Russ McCamey. Russ is a retired military guy. He was in the Marines. And he has a fascination with horror. He actually films people when they are terrified. He films them. He gets this footage and he puts this content on his webpage for you to see it. There is a waiting list to experience this that is 24,000 people are on a waiting list to do this. He interviews each one of the contestants, let's just say, to see if they are sane, to see if they're healthy. They have to actually go through a physical test. You have to go and get something from your doctor to say that you can physically partake of this haunted house. They do all kinds of things, even waterboarding you.
Yep, that's right.
This is so disturbing to me in so many ways. And I just can't tell you how disturbed I am by this. The community as a whole, people who put on haunted houses, absolutely are against Russ McCamey's type of haunting. They feel that it's giving them a bad name. This is a private thing. It's out on his farm somewhere that they do this. There have been incidences. There's only been one incident where a man actually suffered a heart attack while being a part of this. But he has not killed anybody as a result. In my opinion, it's just a matter of time. But he's been doing this for over 16 years. And people have been going through this haunted house. Now, I want you all to see the waiver that you have to sign in order to enjoy this. And that's Mr. McCamey right there. He's with one of his actors. And he hires young people to be the actors. So, young people really push the limits when it comes to terrifying people. But he hires very young people from the community. Can you pull that up a little bit for me, Hash? All right. So it says let's look at the participant fully understands and agrees that they may come under contact with carbon and monoxide poisoning with regard to the use of artificial fog. Okay, that's simple enough. We all have artificial fog in haunted houses.
Imagine the fog being the thing that kills you in that
Yeah,
house.
exactly.
Isn't that embarrassing?
Go back up to the top again for me, Hash, but I want you to read this. So participant understands that injuries may occur during their tour of M&M. That even sounds like sinister, which may include but not limited to head, neck, and back injuries, death, stroke, traumatic brain injury, brain aneurysms, cerebral or retinal hemorrhage, subdural herniations, loss of consciousness, whiplash, harmful heart reactions, nausea, headache, dizziness, lacerations, broken or sprained bones and ligaments, torn ligaments, bleeding wounds, scrapes, head cuts, head stroke. I mean, come on now. And whoever gave us that LOL, WTF right there. And drowning. Understand that drowning, that's important.
I love how they put death like right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. So you don't see that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way.
Right by it.
The participant fully understands and agrees that being scared, having a panic attack, etc., does not count as a serious injury. Participant fully understands and agrees that their tour may include the use of hypodermic needles, zappers, tasers, and a dog and shock collars. Hello? Okay. Participant fully understands and agrees that they may be crushed in a pit by various objects.
Oh my God.
Participant fully understands and agrees that various fluids such as food coloring, grease, theatrical blood, or other liquids may be placed in a participant's mouth. It is a participant's responsibility not to swallow these fluids. I want to tell you all something that while I was watching the footage, I actually did a follow-up on this after watching Haunters, The Art of the Scare. I want you to bring that back up again for me, Hash, because there's more. It gets better. And he actually told one of his workers that if somebody vomits, that make them eat their vomit, put it back in their mouth.
Ooh.
And he said, I like capturing that on film. Because it makes for good content. Hash, you can bring it back up again because I want to continue with the waiver. Participant fully understands, agrees that they may be used fish hooks, which may inadvertently cause rippage to mouth area. Hey, what?
Fish
A
hook.
fish hook in your mouth. A fish hook in your mouth. Okay. Participant fully understands, agrees if they are selected to visit the dentist, they may have a tooth extracted without Novocaine and will not hold M&M liable.
That is crazy.
I'm done. Look at it.
Like at what point?
Wait a minute. But what's so bad about it is people sign up for this. Well, let me finish.
But the thing is, like, this isn't an experience for the person going through it at that point.
No, it becomes that because I think people want to challenge themselves and they want to push themselves to.
No, this is something that people running it are getting out of it.
Well, yes, obviously it is. If he's filming it, he's getting some kind of satisfaction off of it. He really is. Maybe he's a sadist, and we don't really know that. So
maybe,
yeah. Well, I'm being nice, but anyway. So listen to this. It says that it understands and agrees that the joints, the shoulders, the jaw, shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, the hip, the knee may be accidentally dislocated, and the participant will not hold M&M responsible. Participant will be subjected or may be subjected to various medieval torture devices such as a knife throwing while strapped to a spinning wheel, shackle chains, gibbet cage, stocks, and the rack, etc. Let's look at number 65. Participant fully understands and agrees that water torture may be used. Okay.
I was done at the dentist. That was kind of done at that one.
I was done that you was gonna break my bones.
So I
was probably done at the death part.
Like, I have to wonder how much of this experience is people reading the waiver. Like,
they fully know what's going on because they are actually viewing it. When he puts his videos out there, and I don't know what his YouTube channel is. When he puts his video out there, you see what these people are going through. You absolutely see it. I mean, the photos speak volumes. They are fully aware of what they're getting into. They want to chattel. They have this morbidity, this morbid curiosity of wanting to be challenged or to say that they actually completed it as a badge of courage. I am not. I just don't even know. I watched some of the footage. I actually followed up on it. There's something called Dark Tourist that's on Netflix right now, where this gentleman who's a reporter goes all around the world to morbid curiosity sites that people go to when they go to countries. And he did visit this. This guy only lasted 5 minutes. He lasted 5 minutes. When he signed it, they actually have to read what is on the waiver by verbatim in front of McCamey. They have to. He makes them read it out loud. So basically you're saying if something should occur to you, he's saying, well, you read this out loud. You were fully aware and understanding it, what we said, because you read it out loud in front of me and another witness, so that you are fully aware of what you are signing yourself onto.
This might be the one experience that I will never, ever do. Like any other haunted house, I'll be in. But
I would never do this. Not in a million years.
Like this isn't a haunted house. Yeah, this is torture. This is torturing for fun. And
it's like a modern day Marquis de Sade. It really is.
Yeah.
But to the worst, too extreme. So you're actually experiencing something like out of Saw or out of Hostel or whatever.
There's something so much fun about going to a haunted house that is like a bunch of cool people having fun, scaring other people, and going through it with your friend and being scared. But there's also a safety mechanism there. Like, you know that this is fake. You know that you see everybody coming out and screaming at the final scare, and you're looking forward to do it, just like you would go through a slasher movie or a horror movie. Something like this can be something that stays with you for the rest of your life, and literally kill you. I think this is not something that normal people would do.
Imagine what it does to the psyche to know that you're an inch of losing your life, and you don't know if these people are going to come back from doing it. There's a possibility of you dying this, if somebody's going to make a mistake. And I saw some of the video that I saw was a couple of young ladies asking if they could go, and he was like, "No, this is what you signed up for."
So how did the other guy get to leave after 5 minutes?
So the reporter, they gave him was like a taste of the adventure. They didn't have him go full immersed in it and stuff like that. But just within 5 minutes, and he was with a guy who he actually documented, who likes, this guy's like an extreme guy. He likes rock climbing. He likes, all the extreme sports and stuff like that. So he was challenging himself, at the
McCamey Manor.
amusement of his family. They were like, okay, if this is what you want to do. He lasted longer than the reporter, but he basically said to the camera, "Don't do this. Don't do this. Whoever's deciding to come here, don't do this."
Did you happen to catch what the price for admission to this is?
Let me tell you what the price of admission is. So McCamey, believe it or not, he contributes to a nonprofit for abandoned or dogs that were greyhounds that actually raced. Your price to attend McCamey Manor is dog food. 4 cans of dog food, a bag of dog food, all of that is donated to this fundraiser. I mean, to the nonprofit for retired greyhound dogs.
Wow,
that's a bargain.
Yeah, why don't you go do it, Annabelle?
Yeah, a bargain. Yeah, a bargain is just dog food. People happily come there with their dog food.
I would not last 10 seconds into this.
It's like hardcore hazing. That's what it reminded me of.
It truly is. There's nothing enjoyable, entertaining, slightly, invigorating about doing any of this.
Now, interesting enough, people who have actually survived it have asked him if they could have a job working there, because they also now want to put people through this experience. I feel
Why?
Well, because I think that something triggered in their mind, like some kind of Munchausen type of, or what do you call it? They learn to love their kidnapper. What is that called? It's actually called some Stockholm syndrome.
Oh,
that's
right.
what I think. I think that's what happens, because this 5 hours you have to endure this 5 hours. And if dude that was the reporter from Dark Tourist could only go through 5 minutes, imagine. And they didn't even give it to him the full view. The strange and scary thing about it is the fascination and the glee that McCamey has, that Russ McCamey has, when he's filming these people's terror and their pleas and their cries for help. He giggles. He's elated.
Yeah.
It's sick.
I see. The other thing that I noticed was his wife, right? The relationship he has with his wife, which is so interesting, because they have like a very normal looking house and that sort of thing. But then this haunted, and in part of the documentary, the haunted house is like around the house.
Mm-hmm. Update. She's no longer with him. He has a young girl now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done Svengali'd some girl to be with him. So she's, 100% in his pocket, saying that this is the best place to do. This is what we do. She's 100% involved. Like his wife was not. His wife was very hesitant as to how far he was pushing.
Of course. Yeah.
Coming through this process. So absolutely just the craziest thing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and these pictures, I don't even think do it justice. To tell you the truth.
I had to really be careful about what I decided to show, because some of the content that that I had originally put there, I had to remove it. It was
Yeah.
just too much.
Yeah.
Definitely not. As much as I love haunted houses, I like the traditional ones, and I want to stick with that because I know at the end of it, just like if I watch a horror movie, it's going to end.
And it's
You know?
usually fun at the end. You get that final scare, you all run outside.
Yep, it is. So that's it for this evening, you all. I am so excited this was a successful show. I hope that our
Oh
audience
my
really liked
God.
it.
This is
Um,
amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience to bring this to you all, audience out there. I hope that you entertain it. And we'd really like to hear from our audience. We'd like to hear if you've had any type of strange encounter, any supernatural encounter. If you want to share some stories, we'd actually like to discuss those stories with you. You can reach us via Evolution Comics, because who is actually powering this machine. But you can also reach us on Instagram at Cliff Dive Productions and on Facebook as Cliff Dive Productions. Just send us something saying that you've had an encounter. We'd really like to share these stories. We also have some stories to share, so we will highlight Annabelle and August's stories so you can kind of get to know us a little bit better. And that's it for this evening. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Take care.